Welcome, Libra. This is Jean, and this is your July 2017 card reading. I want to say thank you all first of all so much for subscribing to my channel, for the likes, for the comments, and for the shares. I really appreciate it. It lets me know that the messages are resonating with you guys, and it lets me know that the messages are hitting their intended recipients. I really do appreciate that. So what I am doing for this month, I've already published your guys' love readings for the month of July. So this is more of the general reading. However, one thing that I am doing differently now is instead of just doing the Celtic Cross and kind of seeing what the theme is, I am doing this spread with the intention of getting a message of like, what do you guys need to know to stand in your power for the month of July? All right. What do you need to know, or what can you do to help your inner light shine, right? To help you find your rebel yell. So I am using the Isis Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. And if any of you guys have used her decks before, they are very deep and profound. And that's why I thought it was very fitting to use her deck for you guys this month. So it is a 5-card spread. And this first card is what the spiritual issue is at hand for you guys for the month of July. And the card is Spirit of Isis. Oh, and I am going to be referencing her guidebook just because the messages are so deep. Again, I want to make sure that I have the right message for you guys because she says it in a much more eloquent way than I could. So this is about surrender and letting go, but not giving up, right? So the spiritual issue at hand for you guys is to continue keeping your faith, continue to take inspired action, right? That it's okay to surrender and let go to the will of divine, right? But not to give up. So you might feel inclined, to say, let go and let God, like some people say, right? And if that job comes, it's going to come, but it's not quitting. It's not giving up, right? It's not saying, I'm not going to get a job anyway, so why bother applying? It's taking that inspired action. And I should have said this first, but the reason I like to cover spiritual matters is because I truly believe, more like I know in my heart, have you heard the saying, as within, so without, right? At the core of every matter that's tangible, that's in your life, that's manifesting the real world, there is a spiritual matter at the core of that. And what you are experiencing in your outer life, there is a spiritual root that has kind of like shaken like an earthquake, and that's kind of sending out the shock waves out into your outer world, all right? So the spiritual issue at hand for you guys for the month of July is to continue taking that inspired action, to not quit, no matter how bold or impossible your dreams seem. And that could be a dream to, just secure financial stability, or it could be a dream to kind of like change the world as you see it, right? So detach from expected outcomes, but don't give up. Don't quit. So that is the issue at hand for you guys. It's like you've been going through a really hard time, a struggle, and you probably have felt like, why do I keep giving on? Like, why do I keep giving? Why do I keep going on? Why do I keep putting my best foot forward? And this is saying, don't give up yet. Keep going. Keep going. All right. This next card, what's the position? Again, sorry, I don't use this deck very often because it is so deep. Okay, so how can you best heal this in your daily life? Ooh, the Chariot of Ascension. Okay, let me take a look at that. That's the Merkaba, if any of you guys are familiar with sacred geometry. Okay, how you can heal any current strife, right, that you're feeling in your outer world. What this is saying is that your soul is kind of longing to have more of a conscious communication with spirit, right? To let itself to really join in the divine harmony of heaven and earth. And it takes a really powerful consciousness to do this. So let me see what this says. So this is really about like a new a new spiritual practice that would be very special. It's either coming to you or has recently come to your attention. So if you've recently, heard of Reiki, now I understand that Reiki is energy healing, but for some it's kind of like a doorway to a different spiritual practice. If you've been learning about different religions and across your studies, one kind of just really resonated deeply within you. If you've been invited to church or something similar, what this is saying is that embrace it, right? Now, please, discernment is very, very important anytime something new comes across your path, right? So discernment really just means having that kind of inner check, right? And not just believing everything that comes across your doorstep, right? But if it resonates with you, then go for it. So as a way of coping and healing in your daily life, really embrace and kind of take that step into a spiritual practice and try to incorporate it into your daily living. And good ways of, reaching out if you haven't done so, are meditating, praying, doing, what was that just popped into my head? Yoga, but something else, just like Tai Chi. So these are all, even though they're not what you might consider a spiritual practice, they're all related and they all deal with energy and spiritual healing. Okay, so for you guys, it's going to seem like that for the month of July, really incorporating any spiritual practice of your choice into your daily living is going to be very, very helpful. Okay, so for the month of July, this next card indicates the special blessing that is coming to you. Queen of Heaven, blessings from the Divine Empress of the Skies. And the funny thing is I think most of the signs have gotten this card, and for the life of me, I just cannot remember what this card means. Maybe that's something internal that's struggling, huh? Okay, so the blessing that is coming to you guys is going to be sort of an inner acknowledgement of your feminine authority, and that does not matter, absolutely not, whether or not you are a man or a woman. And there's going to be an acknowledgement or a recognition that you have a life path of spiritual leadership, right? That will bring qualities of mercy, compassion, and wisdom into the world. So this is about feminine leadership, spiritual authority, and ascending into a position of leadership. So if you've kind of been considering doing that, for example, like you've been thinking about starting a meetup group, or if you're in a meetup group and you think that they would really benefit from what go for it. Reach out to the leader and say, hey, maybe I could assist, or maybe I could co-host an event. If there is a church study, right, that happens, once a week, maybe you could volunteer for that, or maybe you could volunteer to run your Sunday school class. If you're interested in drumming, right, and you want to start your own drumming circle, this is saying to step into that position of leadership, because what you have to offer is really going to connect with others, And that's the blessing that is coming to you. Not necessarily, that you're going to be placed into a position of leadership, but that you're going to kind of recognize your own leadership ability, and that you have something to give and to share with others. And it's going to help. What you have to give to the world is only going to help foster more mercy, compassion, and wisdom. And so for you, for the month of July, it's to also consider that and recognize it. And I feel like there's going to be a moment where you're like, maybe I would like to do that, And if you're like most people, I am, for one, I tend to watch the monthly videos and the weekly videos that other readers put out towards towards the beginning of the month, right? And I don't really remember what they say, but if you guys are watching this at the beginning of the month and you don't remember what the message is, what I was going to say is that I'm sure it's not going to be like, aha, there's an opening, to be, a minister or whatever. But what this is it's going to be more like a slow, subconscious, light going off, but it's going to be very, it's not going to be jolting, right? And it's not going to be like a eureka moment. I think it's going to be more like a recognition of your own leadership and a recognition of your own innate, your own innate goodness that you want to share with others. All right. So that's the blessing that's coming for you guys. Now, maybe I can just remember that Queen of Heaven means blessing. I mean, and if you think about it, look, it kind of looks like she's got a halo, right? And this is kind of really around her crown chakra. And it's glowing and radiating outward. Okay. So this next card for you guys, this is your challenge for the month of July. Proper burial for freedom. Okay. Let me look this one up as well. Again, I appreciate your guys' patience with me. Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is pretty straightforward. So the challenge for you guys, Libra, is to let go of that which no longer serves you. So it seems like you guys have been going through a rather tough time recently, right? And that's not to say that every single day has been difficult, but maybe it's been more of an internal struggle, right? I mean, it's very possible. I mean, you guys are the scales of balance, right? So you guys are usually really good at keeping that even keel. So maybe it's just been an inner frustration, an inner tug of war, right? And you're smiling on the outside like everything's just, peachy keen, but maybe you're starting to feel like you want more. You need something more. But what this is saying is that to have that something more that you deserve, you're going to have to let go of whatever is in your life that isn't helping you grow, isn't really adding to, right? And maybe it did in the past, but it's not so much anymore. It's almost like it just popped in my head, like a teaching position, right? Maybe straight out of college you got a teaching position, right? And you were so excited and you learned so much. Well, after a certain amount of time, you're not going to really continue to learn and grow because you'll have mastered it, right? You have mastered the art of teaching whatever subject you're teaching, right? And you just need something more to help you expand your skill set, if you will. So this is kind of saying that in order to continue expanding your skill set, you're going to have to be ready and okay to leave that teaching job that you loved, and it was so familiar, and there's such a fondness for that because it was your first job right out of college, or all the colleagues were so supportive of you and they've always been there for when you needed them, but it's just not pushing you to reach for the stars anymore. You've mastered it. So the challenge for you guys for the month of July is to really let the old fall away to the side. I just got an image of like somebody walking along. I think this is you, Libra, like walking along like a dusty highway, right? Almost like a hitchhiker would. And you've got like a backpack on and the road is super dusty, and it's almost like, this is going to sound kind of creepy, but like you were carrying like it's going to sound really weird, but like a skeleton, like you kind of let like a skeleton. I see a skeleton falling to the road, and as it hits the road, like the dust flies up, and to me, I think what they're saying is that you guys need to let go of that dead weight, right? You're walking this path, you're walking your journey, and it's hard, it's tough, right? It's a highway, and it looked really dusty, almost like a highway would be in like in the middle of like the Mojave Desert, I'm guessing. Don't quote me on that, never been there. But you're walking along, and you finally let go of like the dead weight, and it lightens your load, and that gives you the opportunity to really just keep on keeping on, right? Your load is a lot lighter, and even though you're tired and you're weary and you're thirsty and you just want to like sit, letting that go is going to give you a little bit more gas to keep pushing on to whatever the next phase of your life is. So that's your challenge for the month of July, Libra, and you're up for the challenge. I know you guys can do it. It's not easy, but anything worth having is not given easily. Okay, so now you guys actually got 2 cards as I was pulling for this position in the spread, and this is special guidance from your higher self and or guides. And the first one is the Brother in Darkness, and the second one is Truths Unveiled. Okay, so for you guys, I'm going to do this one first. The Brother in Darkness, overcoming negative energy with feminine power. So, for you guys, the guidance from your higher self and or spirit guides is that there is negative energy, right, being directed towards you. And this energy could be either internal, like you beating yourself up, which is very possible, especially if you guys have been like on this long and, treacherous journey. It's very likely you've been beating yourself up. Most of us do. Or this negative energy could be directed at you. Part of this is because you are being spiritually tested, right? It's part of an initiation, if you will. Instead of fueling that fire of negative energy, right? So if you can, like, imagine that, like, there are flames. All right, here we go. It's time to use our imaginations. So imagine that there are flames, right, being, like, shot at you. And these flames are just, like, made of, like, negative energy. And it's just, like, flames full of, like, anger and hatred, right? Well, you, of course, have to fight back. What you are being guided to do is to not fight fire with fire, because that doesn't work. Fire does not put out fire that I know of. So just go with me here. What you are being asked to do is to really like drench yourself in the waters of compassion, of mercy, of love, and forgiveness, right? These are all feminine powers. These are feminine strengths. And you are being asked to drench yourself in that and put out the flames with your water, with the water, okay? So don't fight negative energy with negative energy. Negative energy can only be overcome by positive energy. And that's really the only way that you will win. Okay? So I hope that analogy worked for you guys. Next, the other guidance, you guys are the first sign that got 2 cards in any one of these positions. So maybe you each need to hear both of these messages, or maybe some of you guys need to hear one message and the other, group of Libras need to hear the other message. So please remember, this is a general reading. It's not gonna mean something to everybody. And the reason I'm saying this is because the guidance for you for this card, what it's saying is that something or someone is being deceptive. Okay? Now, again, this could be you being deceptive to yourself, such as, I'm happy in my 9-to-5 job, commuting 40 minutes one way and 40 minutes the other. My family is happy. They have stability. We have financial security. Everything's peachy keen. While you're dying on the inside, and as you like pull up to your office building, you feel like your soul is like withering away. Okay? So I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I'm trying to get you to see the point that sometimes, like we feel like we're putting on a brave face, but you're deceiving yourself. Okay? Another message, another way this could be received is that someone near you is deceiving you. Okay? Yes, it is possible that there is somebody, with malicious intent, but I feel like the odds of that are very slim. Unless you're frequenting, places that you shouldn't be frequenting, in which case, yes, be careful. But what this is more along the lines of is that sometimes it's harder to see that our loved ones might subconsciously be deceiving us and they don't even realize it themselves, right? Let me give you an example. Maybe you've been best friends, right? You grew up, you guys lived next door to each other. You grew up all throughout high school. You guys were best friends. And you've always been so close. But then, one went here, one went there for college, one joined the military, one went here, and you guys have kind of like grown apart, and then maybe, you guys just don't have as much in common, but maybe you guys are kind of putting up that front to kind of like keep that relationship going, right? That is a deception. Another deception would be, say you're considering moving to the beach. Now that's going to take a lot of money, it's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of resources, right? And maybe a brother, a sister, a child, adult child is like, yeah, you should do it. You should go. You should move. Oh, it would be so good for you, right? But that's because this person really wants you to move. Because, yeah, of course, they love you and they're concerned with you. But what they're really thinking is how nice it would be to come stay with mom or dad at their new beach house. right? And they're saying, oh yeah, you can afford that loan, mom, totally. Oh dad, that's a great house, right? So that's the kind of deception that I'm saying, isn't always malicious, and it's not, directly intended to hurt, but it's still deceptive, okay? Because it's kind of like supporting you and saying, yes, you can do this, yes, you should do this, when it's really because they're looking out for their own interests. So, last but not least is if when I started talking about deception, that somebody is not being completely honest with you, please think back. Like, did somebody's name pop up into your head? Did somebody, like a coworker or a friend, a girlfriend, an uncle, did somebody pop into your head? Were you thinking about a certain situation? Did you get a job offer that you were considering accepting and it just seems too good to be true and you've been hesitating and that's what popped into your mind? Use your gut, use your instinct, right? Because your intuition, your intuitive senses have already picked up on where the deception is. Don't let your brain talk yourself out of it. So that's the guidance for you, Libra, for the month of July. So let's do a little quick recap for you guys, okay? Let's see if I can remember what these really complicated cards are. The July message for you, the spiritual issue at hand is for you to, see, I already forgot what this one is. Give me a second. To keep on keeping on. There we go. Right? You guys have been walking like a really long, dusty path, and it almost looks like there's no end in sight. Don't give up. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to want to sit down and, grab that drink of water as you're walking along this dusty road. But be cautious that if you stop and take a seat and have a sip of water, it's going to be really hard to get that momentum going again. Okay? So that's the issue for you guys for the month of July. Whatever you've got going on in your life, it's not easy. Keep pushing forward. You can do it. And what's going to help you get through that? Embrace a spiritual practice in whatever way, shape, or form speaks to you. If you feel like jumping around, dancing outside naked in the rain is what really helps you get through it, by all means, go for it, right? Rock on. If you feel that helps you, commune with the divine and helps you kind of feel like you are that middle link between heaven and earth, rock on. Do it. Just, maybe don't do it in the middle of the day, right? When everyone's out watching. All right. Queen of Heaven. So this is the blessing that's going to come for you guys for the month of July. It could be almost like a slow awakening that you are being called to step into a position of leadership, that you are going to be using your leadership to sort of help usher in more love and mercy and compassion into the world. And that's kind of what the age of Aquarius is about. It's about like ushering in like this, beautiful era where I guess people just love each other more. All right. And keep in mind, guys, that it doesn't mean that you have to start your own club or you're president. This could just be getting together with girlfriends, chatting over coffee, and speaking your truth, right? All right. The challenge for you guys here is to let go of that which no longer serves you, right? So as you are traveling along that dusty road, let go, lighten your load, go through that, quote unquote, that backpack that you're carrying, right? And take stock, right? You've been carrying it with you this whole way. What relationships aren't really helping you on this road? What possessions are weighing you down, right? Do you really need that extra pair of boots like slung over your shoulder, or can you set them by the wayside as you continue walking down this path? I don't know, right? It's on you guys. So that's your challenge for the month of July. And the guidance for you guys: don't fight fire with fire, right? Don't use anger and hatred to fight anger and hatred. All it does is bring more hatred and anger. If somebody is spewing nasty anger and malicious stuff at you, your shield and your sword are love and mercy and compassion. That is feminine strength. That is feminine power. That's girl power. And I don't care if you're a guy or girl, because we all got that in us, right? We also each have our masculine side. And keep in mind that there is a deceptive situation in your life that you need to be aware of. And the sooner you realize what it is, and the sooner you deal with it, knowing that it's a deception, the easier it will be for you in the end. And that could be internal deception or external. All right, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this reading. I am enjoying doing this for you guys. I hope it helps you shed some light on some of your, life path concerns. If you have any questions about any of these cards, please feel free to leave so in the comments section below, and I'd be happy to get back to you guys. All right, God bless, good luck, and hope you guys have a beautiful month of July. Take care.